Yo, what's up, world? I'm Sam. I am the MC, representing the mighty SAK crew. Been doing all the elements forever. 87 Stony Island representative.
Okay.
Kenwood Academy B-boy. Peace to all the B-boys from the point. You know who you are.
Right.
I went to Northern, did a lot of open mics there. Pledge Signal, you know what I'm saying? Peace to all my frat, my soror Zetas, Gammas and Betas.
Somebody want to hear some freestyling tonight? Alright, cool. Feel free to hold up something. I'm gonna take a little freestyle, you know what I'm saying? Can we get something on the drums? Yeah. Come a little bit closer, hold up something, you know what I mean? Hey, when I say free, y'all say style, free. Free. When I say free, y'all say style, free. Free.
So yo, Sam, tell them all of the elements that you have under your crown. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I'm an MC that goes back. You know, I do all the elements. All of the elements I don't do like I used to back in the day.
Hey, but name them all.
I was known as DJ Sam I Am back in the 90s.
Okay.
I'm definitely a B-boy all the way.
Right.
I represent the mighty SAK crew and did a lot of graffiti with them.
Most def.
And definitely MCing.
Right.
And I've been MCing since I was 5, and I've been freestyling since '92. And now I'm just trying to not so much be in that battle MC aspect, but to show people that I can put out, solid hip hop material, show the world. Kenwood B-boy representing the point.
Right.
And went to NIU, did open mics there. Joined Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, and came out swinging, won Round Splitters for All City Freestyle, MTV World Rap Championship finalist, and also did the MTV, the BET, Freestyle Friday, and just many other different competitions, and just trying to keep the hip hop alive and just show them that freestyling is an art.
Right.
Yo, I'm Sam, I'm in the zone, flowing off the dome, he's holding his phone. And you know that I'm spitting the real rhymes. You're shaking your keys in real time. I really appreciate it. I know when people feeling alleviated. I never deviated from the stress. MCs, they are depressed. But that's the way that I do it, because I play them recess. That's the way that I'm feeling at the moment. I'm coming off the top and I'll be killing opponents. I'm like, dang, I gotta represent soon. When I'm on mushrooms, I need an elbow room.
Came out of college, did the corporate thing for a while. And
how'd you like the corporate America scene?
You know what? I mean, I did academic advising, and it was cool. And I know for a fact that I can use my degree and get that job and live off of that if I want to. Like, that's what that proved, right there. But at the same time, it was good because I did what my parents wanted me to do, which was, get your degree, get out of the house, live on your own, pay your own rent.
Right.
But then at the same time, I was like, I still got to keep pursuing my passion. And, I was always on the freestyle scene, Blue Nose, Subterranean, you name it, I've done it. And, 2007, that's when I won Round Splitters for All City and became a Chicago freestyle champ. And then once I did that, I was like, I'm ready to travel the world.
Right.
So, I went to, I was in Scribble Jam 2008.
Okay.
I came in second place in LA for their prelims. A lot of people don't know that.
Okay.
So I want to make that clear there.
Hip hop trivia.
Ironically, I came in fourth in the prelims in Chicago.
Right.
And I didn't win it all at the Cincinnati, but I was in it. And I mean, just to be in it, you're amongst the elite.
Right.
Then after that, I auditioned for 106 Park Freestyle Friday.
Right.
Won 5 in a row, became the first MC from Chicago to be retired.
Most that.
They gotta go and get it, cause my foot was wicked. MCs, they are so tipping. I gotta go and rhyme again. I'm spending time with friends. I need the Corona, and then I hide again. And that's the way that I do it. They can know that I am thinking. I guess I'm Abraham, I'm in Lincoln. And that's the way that I feel in the continental. When it's confidential, and I rip the mental. That's the way I do it. My mind is expanding. Like knots, I'm landing. I see the cannon like thick. But that's the way I do it. I freestyle too with MCs, they suck so stupid. So bird up, that I gotta go ahead and I will erase ya. No, I won't chase ya, but that's a visa. But then I see ya, I got flavor like a slice of pizza. And I wanna be ya, the way that I'm going, breaking it down. I'm never hard, I wasn't gonna steal your credit card. But that's okay, cause you know what, I rhyme it no doubt. But like the cars, I lift weights and max out. So you know that I'm coming up with the rhyme. MCs, they stepping up, but they can never shine. But I'm just ripping it, and this significant. He plays the drums, and my mind is the instrument. I'm coming up with the flow, but you know it's now time to bone. Beat the seas like a xylophone. And you know, tip the bartender. I'm so excellent that I'm building tens of inches.
So how old were you when you did your first audio recording in the booth?
My first audio recording was in '92.
Okay.
I was 10.
Okay.
And my dad, he had a little studio in the basement. And it wasn't like, you know, you could punch in. It's just like, you know, you pick a record, you rap all your 3 verses or whatever.
Right.
And it's ironic that when I did that, that's how I started freestyling, because I would be reading the verses or whatever, and instead of messing up, I'd improvise a line. So when I played the tape back, I would notice that 6 or 7 lines were different. And then, like in '93, when I realized that people were doing what I was doing those 6 or 7 times all the way through, I was like, oh yeah, really? Like, and then the rest was history.
Do you still have that recording?
I still have it. I have 20 years of recorded Sam I Am material. I mean, I've had a million rap names.
Right.
You know, when I first started rapping, I was Sammy D.
Okay.
Because my father, like, he only let us listen to the clean rappers at the time. So, you know, you had Heavy D, so I was Sammy D.
Right.
And, you know, you had the Fresh Prince aspect, and, you know, and I was big fans of DMC. And it was crazy, but it really taught me during that era, since he wouldn't let me write raps for cursing, and become more lyrical and use the different phrasing that was more clever than resorting to a curse word.
Right.
You know, so it's just like kind of like if I was playing basketball, I could be that dude shooting 3-pointers off the backboard, but my style of rap is all net.
Super crazy with the rhymes. Gotta go and pick it up, but then I gotta shine. Oh, that's okay, yo, I'll be the rhyme faster. Yo, it's okay, I'll just rhyme faster. But you know what, I spit the metaphors. That was number 4, the light chords. That's the way we do it, I got the metaphors. Got the type of rhymes that will always open doors. Oh my gosh, got the rhymes that nobody's matching. When I'm freestyling, you know I'm hearing scratching. Then they know that I'm so tough acting. I walk around, feeling like some action. That's the way that I gotta do my all things. Ripping seats from Walmart to Walgreens. But you know what? My flow's on target. What's the Walgreens? Cause they don't get it started. MC Hammer, gotta go slam ya. On the microphone, just sit up, I got the grammar. And if you can replace me, that says TH, but where's the C?
What does it take to be a masterful MC?
I mean, I can't speak for everybody, because, you know, everybody has a different way of becoming a great MC.
Right.
But I think for me, personally, was my grandfather was a self-taught biblical scholar. I consider myself a self-taught lyrical scholar.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He sat there with that Bible every night, every time I saw him, you know, and it was like me, I felt like back in the day, if somebody knew how to freestyle well, or knew how to break dance, you know, it was special, you know what I mean? So, but in order to be special, you're supposed to stand out,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I think that greatness is inspired by solitude, and I mean, I would just sit there in my room by myself and just keep coming up with different techniques and, you know, just battling as many MCs as I could. And instead of me, I never came to any rap in my entire life and asked them how to rap.
Okay.
I never asked anybody how to freestyle. It's just like, all right, I mean, even the people that I looked up to, it was like, all right, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I'll go back in the lab, make some doper shit, and come back, you know what I'm saying? And try to be that student that's better than the teacher, you know? I mean, but now it's like, you know, you got the ghostwriting, you got people, all they want is just hooks, and the production can make up for the lack of lyricism. And I just really want to bring it back to that whole thing where you heard the lyrics, it was like, damn, and you heard the beats and you were like, damn.
Right.
And you know, I think you know, it's a whole movement, not just me. I mean, but you know, I want people to tap into Cannabis and Mobb Deep and Black Moon and you know, Hyro and Farside, and when they used to hear them and had that feeling and those chills down the spine, hopefully I can recreate some of those feelings.
I guess I need to weed. Had a freestyle and then I do what it needs. But you know I freestyle, no doubt. But this that's time to kill, figure it out. Hopefully I'm not boring. I'm on my high horse like Ralph Lauren. Gotta go with it and it's no phony smiling. Can't send my air representing Stony Island. You know that my mind is infinite. Give me a certificate for being articulate. And you know I'm ripping shit. I'm the round scholar. I got my CD, it's only $5. Damn, I ain't gonna get it, just spin it. This ain't Amazon, but it's represented. MCs know that I always terrific. I'm just in my air, my time is infinite. Thank you.
What, out of all places, reminds you the most in Chicago of hip hop?
Ooh, it's a tough question. I want to say Hyde Park, but when I go there, I don't feel any hip hop vibes anymore because it's totally different.
Right, right. Well, what place in Hyde Park?
But that, the point,
okay,
you know, that was where I, you know, definitely transformed. Like, you know, instead of being a breakdancer to a b-boy, instead of being MC but being a lyricist, you know what I mean? Like that was where, like, you know, it's funny in like grammar school or elementary school, you know, it was the competition wasn't that steep, you know. But then when you're 14, now you're going against rappers of 17, 18. You know, and sometimes even college cats. And then it was like I thought I was at my apex in 7th grade. And then I'm hearing this dude, you know, like I remember the first time I heard Pugsley Adams, and I was like, whoa, man, like, what's going on? You know, I was like, I got to go back to the drawing board. Big ups to him. He was definitely like a big brother, freestyle influence, mentor.
Big ups to the Nacrobats.
You know, big ups to Nacrobats, SAK crew, you know, and all of us were original. You know, all of us wanted to go and show our own lyrical technique, and I think that hopefully, you know, there's an audience that grows that wants to hear real MCing again, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you listen to the radio and it's like the same 10 rappers, and you know, and it definitely sometimes downplays the hope, but all I could do is keep hope alive.
Most def.
Everything happens for a reason. Reason with me if you feel I'm wrong. Some wrongs are impossible to right. To write from your heart is freedom of expression. Your expression right now is a smile. A smile is a frown that's turned upside down. The upside to bring it down is good friends. Friends is that show I watched on TV. TV, you'll see me during prime time. Time is a terrible thing to waste. A waste is what I put my hands around. A round shape more than a circle. A circle, a group of dependable buddies. Buddy is a classic by De La Soul. Soul's a Mr. Drop 93 until the day I drop, I'll stay hip hop.
So what do you think could be done to bring back that hip hop vibe to Hyde Park, for example, that used to exist in the 90s?
You know, I just really think that, you know, right now hip hop lives in Wicker Park, hands down. I think that it transfers, you know. I mean, hip hop heads are still here. If they wanted it back in Hyde Park, I don't really think it's about what neighborhood it's in. As long as it's in a neighborhood.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Most def. So, what record labels are on your radar?
I'm definitely thinking about Duck Down and Stone's Throw. You know, I'm a big MF Doom fan. I grew up off of Black Moon. You know, Boot Camp Click. You know, Hyro Imperium. You know, I remade Make Your Mind Up. 93 to Infinity is my favorite hip hop album ever, and that was definitely one of the albums that made me say, even though I was 11 at the time, but I was like, I want to be a lyricist now versus, you know, just an MC. But you have, you know, people who are entertainers, then you have rappers, then you have MCs. And then you have lyricists, you know, the entertainer, you know, like Puffy's an entertainer. He raps and, you know, he gets his capital. You know, then you got a rapper. He's not just an entertainer. He's an entertainer, but he's pretty good. But he doesn't take it that seriously. But he's better than average. And then you got an MC who, you know, he takes it to the next level, and he really wants to be known for being witty, you know, and he wants to put effort, and he cares about his production and the lyrical aspect. And then you have the lyricist who wants to take it to the highest level that he possibly can. And, you know, that was the era that I came up in, when you're like, I want to be the greatest MC in the world, you know. You know, that's where the lyricists come in, you know, and a lyricist is a highly skilled MC.
Right. What's that?